This is 91.3 FM, WCUW in Worcester, Massachusetts, with the Dr. Chris Radio of Horror program. And on the phone with us now, the author of one of the more unique horror biographies in the horror industry, which came out a couple years ago, On Location in Blairstown, The Making of Friday the 13th. We have David Grove back on the show with us. Thank you for coming back on the show with us, David.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Cool. Your book came out a couple years ago. How has it been doing?
Well, very good. Very good. It's enduring, you know. And of course, there's a movie coming out next year, hopefully, which will renew interest in the series and the book and all stuff. So it never dies and stuff like that. So
A new Friday the 13th movie?
Yeah. I'm not someone who monitors the internet, but of course I keep track since I have such a long history with the movie. I keep track. I kind of know one of the producers because I've interviewed him about his other films.
I have no faith that movie actually come out next year, because that movie was supposed to have been out this year and last year.
Hopefully a movie will come out and keep the brand alive. But regardless, the fans are it's a very enduring series. But there's nothing like having a new movie out to restore interest in like a book like mine, right? There's nothing like having a movie out.
I have more faith that Halloween Returns, the sequel, another Halloween movie, which is currently in development, will come out before we see a Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street again.
Wow, I just heard about that. It's from the guy who wrote some of the Saw movies. Is that a reboot of the 1978 film, or is that a sequel to all these mindless later films?
It's a sequel. It's a sequel to Halloween 2.
Oh, it's a sequel after The Hospital. Well, that sounds interesting. I always thought it would have been interesting, to have Jamie Lee Curtis play, I don't know what they're doing, but having Laurie, maybe become a psychiatrist and go after Michael and stuff like that. But that would be interesting, because there really wasn't, I didn't think Halloween H2O was really a plausible continuation of the series, Like, where was he? Where was he for 15 years,
Looking for her. Now, you just had the book come out in Brazil, and it has this rather unique cover, which doesn't make a lot of sense based on whoever website this is, because this book, the filming of Friday the 13th, this has nothing to do with Jason, but the alternate cover has the hockey mask on it, and in the background of this...
You noticed that, yeah, the hockey mask didn't appear, well...
And also in the background, there's a scene from the remake of Friday the 13th, and that makes no sense either.
Yeah, well, the cover, it's a limited edition. I guess they thought it would be more commercial having the hockey mask, even though the hockey mask did not appear until part 3. And it worked. I love the design and layout. They did a lot, very enthusiastic. I'm very happy with the book. Yeah, the hockey mask doesn't appear, obviously. But, I guess people get that it's so synonymous with the brand. So, it's a great marketing thing. And, you're talking about the hardcover, the limited edition hardcover. The other hardcover paperback has the more traditional design based on the poster of part 1 and stuff like that. So
it just seems like whoever made that up really didn't pay attention to what the material of the first movie is about. It seems really off-putting. I understand Jason is synonymous with this series, but your book is only about the first movie and nothing to do with Jason.
Yeah, although Jason, certainly comes out of the lake at the beginning, and they never knew, they never knew what Jason would become. They just, they didn't think beyond the first movie. But yeah, I'm very happy with the first. As I said, I just wish I spoke Portuguese. I hope maybe we can turn it into English. Because I really love the layout and the design.
Isn't this your book translated into Portuguese?
It is. It's in Portuguese, but the layout and the design is very different. It's very good.
Okay.
The publisher's name is Darkside Books. They're on Facebook. They're quite a big publisher. They have like 300,000 followers, and they did a wonderful job. I'm so happy with the job they did. I'm just saying, I wish they could turn it into an English version. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So people in North America could buy it, because I love the layout and the design they did.
Now, you also have another book coming out in the horror documentary kind of book series that you do called Jamie Lee Curtis, Scream Queen. When is that coming out?
Oh, it's been out for a couple of years. What happened was I just did a Facebook page last week, so that's why I contacted you. I've been contacting everyone, just say you join my Facebook page and stuff like that. And Jay, the reason I did the Facebook page and the reason the book will be of great interest to fans is because Jamie's starring in the new Scream Queens TV.
I saw the trailer for that. That looks awful.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming from the title that it's kind of referential to Jamie's own. Anyway, Jamie, she's kind of been, her acting career's kind of slowed down, and here she is referring to Scream Queens. And I've got a book called Jamie Lee Curtis Scream Queen, which covers her entire life and career from 1978 to 1981, from Halloween to Terror Train and Prom Night and all those movies. So everything comes around. I can't believe it's been over 35 years since Halloween came out. Can you believe that?
Yeah, 30, 35, 36 years or something.
Yeah.
The box set that came out last year, in collaboration with Scream Factory and Anchor Bay, just won the Saturn Award for Best Collector's Edition box set or something. Just won some big Saturn Award.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good. Well, I haven't seen it. I've got so many versions. I'm in my basement right now, and on my wall, I think I've got 5 different versions of Halloween. I've got the VHS tapes from the late 90s. I've got the first DVD with the extended version in 2002. Then I've got another version 2003. And then in 2003, I bought the 25th anniversary one. So, it just goes on and on. I mean, enough's enough.
Yeah, I hear that. Now, what is the next book that you're working on after the Jamie Lee Curtis thing?
I'm going in a different direction. I'm a film journalist. I write about movies. I'm a film historian in all genres. I've got 2 projects in mind. One is a book on a book that covers the teen sex comedy film genre in the early to mid 80s. The Porky's, the Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's sort of it'll be to that genre what like a Going to Pieces book or documentary was to the slasher genre in that period. And it'll be something that maybe you could do a documentary on. A book that covers the whole genre. Like movies like Porky's and all Private School and all those movies we remember from the 80s that kind of ran in tandem with the slasher movies like Friday the 13th. And then I'm also doing a biography on the career of, do you know who Jan Michael Vincent is?
No.
Oh, he was in Airwolf. He was in The Mechanic with Charles Bronson.
Airwolf, the helicopter show.
Yeah, he was a sex symbol of the 70s and early 80s, and he kind of crashed and burned. Some people described him as he could have been Brad Pitt, of his day, but his career just kind of crashed and burned. It's a very sad story, but it's a very interesting story. So I'm quite busy, and I've written a novel too.
What's the novel about?
It's a romantic fantasy. It's about a man. It's about a man who he gets a second. It's about a man who travels back in time to the end of high school in 1991.
Cool.
Which is something we've all thought about, right? We've all thought about what if you could go back to high school, or I can ask you this: is there a girl you had a crush on or you loved when you were a teenager? Yes, right?
Yeah.
Of course, we all, every guy, every man could say that, and you look back and go, what if, right? What if?
Yep.
It's a romantic fantasy, kind of like Somewhere in Time and The Notebook, something like that, completely different from my other material. So.
Got it. Yep. What was the biggest thing that people pull from the Friday the 13th book that you've noticed that they really enjoy?
You mean On Location in Blairstown?
Yes.
Well, because I interviewed so many people, you almost feel like you're back there. I wasn't there in 1979, so as a journalist, I had to rely on, yes, lots of information, but mainly the people who were there, right? You see quotes in the book. Most of the book stories have quotes from the people who were there. And so it's kind of like going back in time, trying to recreate a time period, when this low-budget movie was shot in Blairstown, New Jersey,
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the book. I have it on my Kindle, the digital copy of it.
I love the Kindle version. Yeah, I love the Kindle. It looks really good. Sharp. It looks really sharp, doesn't it? Yeah.
I like all the personal stories of people trying to get together to read the book. You know, it was very similar to the Nightmare on Elm Street book that came out, the big, huge one that was on Kickstarter. You know, it only focuses on the first movie. It doesn't focus on 1,001 sequels.
Yeah, I've heard about that book. I don't think it was. I don't think it's sold on Amazon or it was.
No, you can only buy it on their website. Oh, you can buy it on Amazon because third-party people sell it. But you can buy it on their website, and it was a Kickstarter, and they only made like a certain number of copies after the Kickstarter is over. And thankfully, my mom got me one for my birthday.
Oh, great! Well, it looks good. It's only about the first movie, you say?
Yes, it is only about the first movie.
Well, that's my favorite one. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. So yeah, it looks like an interesting book.
And then there's also someone doing a huge book about Ghostbusters.
Oh wow! Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head. What I'm looking to get into because I'm a film journalist. You know, unfortunately, books, magazines are becoming increasingly obsolete. Where journalism is becoming a visual medium now, as opposed to a written. Although I love being a writer, but you know, I would like to do books. I would like to do books in the future that could be turned into documentaries. You know, a la Crystal Lake Memories and Going to Pieces and stuff like that. So that's definitely what I'm looking ahead to. Yeah, it's interesting how the two mediums are how books and DVDs are kind of merging into one. You know.
And there's a lot of like these documentaries that are coming out. You know, like. Film documentaries, and then there's a book coming out right afterwards.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It's kind of similar to the other Friday the 13th book, the big, huge, you know, Crystal Lake Chronicles tomb. They also made a documentary that's like exhaustively long. It's like 10 hours of, including bonus material. It is like 10 hours long.
I haven't seen that one. Well, yeah, I never saw Crystal Lake Memories.
Did you read the book?
It looks good. I did get the book because for what I did this book. I mean, there's most of the people I interviewed for this. Well, I'm the only person who's interviewed a lot of the crew members from Friday the 13th, like Barry Abrams, the cinematographer, passed away in 2009. Virginia Field, the production designer, a lot of the camera crew and stuff like that. So,
who was probably the one person in your book that you didn't have a chance to get to meet for your book, besides maybe like Kevin Bacon?
I've interviewed Kevin as a journalist for movies. I asked him a few questions about Friday, but it wasn't a formal interview. But I'd say the one person I'd most like to interview would probably be, maybe Willie Adams, who played the guy who gets killed at the beginning of the movie.
Of the two people that are having sex when Mrs. Voorhees finds them?
Exactly.
Is he elusive, or is he's not an actor anymore?
Well, you read in the book, I asked people about him. He was a production assistant as well. Until he disappeared, you know, he just disappeared, and, you know, I just would have liked to talk to him.
Is it like Mark Pillow? Did you ever watch Superman 4, The Quest for Peace?
Oh, my God. I think it's one of the worst movies ever made. And interesting, it came out in 1987, the same year that Jaws: The Revenge came out. Two of the worst movies in film history.
The guy who played the Nuclear Man, Mark Pillow. I had Mark, I don't remember his last name, Palantino or something. He's the gay actor from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. The joked film because of all the just ridiculous references to gay culture at the time in the 80s in that movie, and as unintentional as it was, that actor, he came on the show and we were talking about Mark Pillow, who after the Nuclear Man movie came out, he disappeared and no one has ever seen him again.
I think he's married. I googled. I checked somewhere. I think he's married and runs a business, and he's left, you know, acting. And I couldn't get past the bad dialogue and the terrible special effects.
Hey, I still give it up to Christopher Reeve in that movie because he still played one hell of a Superman, even in the fourth entry.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to look for your Jamie Lee Curtis book to give it a read. I didn't where it wasn't where it came out. Do you have a website that people can go to check out your projects?
Yeah, well, of course they can go on Amazon. You know, they're on location in Blairstown. They can go to the Author Mike Inc. page.
All right, David. I appreciate you coming back on the show and talking about your books again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Take care.